Hello, everybody. We're back. Call to an interview.
Yes.
The biggest hits, nobody expected it to be a hit. At least not me. I think Mike knew it. You knew this was going to be a hit, didn't you?
Maybe.
Okay. So, like you guys probably saw if you watched our videos yesterday, my computer is shit and it keeps crashing. But StreamYard keeps recording if I crash, so we have to learn to edit. But we're not really going to edit today. We're just gonna shoot the shit with a new interviewee. Mike, who you have for us today?
You know, thought long and hard about what we should do with this. If we should bring on, somebody you wouldn't expect us to bring on this early on. I went, do not. Let's try this. Let's go for the man, the fandom man, Tim Brzakala.
Hey, well, hey, thanks for having me.
Good. We got a Hulk.
Yes.
Awesome.
We got a Hulk. That's good stuff.
Love it.
So, Tim, how do you feel?
I'm feeling good. I'm excited. I like your guys' content a lot. It makes me chuckle. It makes me happy on the inside. I literally messaged the multiplex admin team and I was like, I'm gonna be on Nazario and like, Joe, I'm so excited. No, I'm excited. It's fun to shoot the shit with you guys, and I like the show. I love the name of the show, man. Great name.
It
Really
took
original.
a long time to come up with this name.
Yeah, like
And the logo especially.
Yeah,
The logo was so hard to come up with.
Well,
love it.
Since Mike brought you in, let's give him the honors of starting this.
Let's go.
Question
Question one. What's the movie or movie moment that started your love for movies?
So the movie is probably Empire Strikes Back, only because I just remember watching it on VHS like religiously, the whole trilogy. But I specifically have very early memories of being like 3 or 4 years old and watching Dagobah. I don't know why Dagobah sticks out in my mind, but I like vividly remember watching that, and I still have my VHS trilogy set. They're a few of the only VHSs I still own to this day, but it's with that cover on it, and I watched it a lot. It doesn't work anymore. Before Force Awakens came out, well, it works, but the color's really bad. I tried rewatch because I still have a VHS player. So I tried rewatching the trilogy on VHS before Force Awakens came out, and yeah, those things have been run to the ground. So that's probably the movie that's lasted the longest, just because it's still one of my favorite movies today. But as far as like newer stuff goes, the one that like really got me into being like, oh, movies can be more than just like something cool that I watch as a pastime, was probably when I saw The Wolf of Wall Street in the theater. Because I had already seen The Departed, which I loved, and I had already seen Cape Fear and like a couple other random Scorsese movies. But I saw Cape Fear because I liked horror, and I didn't know it was like, this is Martin Scorsese. But I saw The Wolf of Wall Street and was like, well, shit, this is perfection. Holy crap! So now Scorsese's my favorite director, so that's kind of the one that like turned me on to like loving the Oscars and loving like the art of film. But yeah, those are my picks.
One, don't spoil future questions. You already answered like question 7 or something.
Nice.
Two, I love the fact that you have a VHS player that works. I thought I was the only one left. Actually, I had a problem with mine, like the head kind of like got loose and shit, and I tried to take it to an electronics store a few months back. I was like, can you fix this? And the guy was like, what is this? Dude, you're definitely the wrong guy for this. But I found a video online and fixed it myself, and still works.
I have not used mine in many a moon. So maybe I should try to make sure it still works, because the only ones I still have are the Star Wars And then I have a few Disneys. Like I have Peter Pan, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, a couple random Disney movies on VHS, but that's all I got. So who knows if it still works, but it's sitting right there. So.
I like that you've kept the Star Wars VHS tapes from back when you watched them. That's awesome.
Yeah, those have
that's
been
probably
around for a
the
long
way
time.
you can actually still get the original cuts of the movies. Be fair.
That's it. I have the original cuts on DVD as well, but yeah, those are that's the way to watch them. It's on the VHS.
Good picks, man. I actually agree with you on these two movies. Empire is probably my favorite Star Wars movie. And Mike, do you love The Wolf of Wall Street?
Oh yeah, it's a great fucking movie. I'll love the hell out of it.
Yeah.
Question 2. What's the first movie you remember to see actually in theaters?
The first one that I remember seeing in theaters is A Bug's Life, which I believe was 1998. Was it 97? There you go.
No, you're right.
98. Okay, so I was born in 95, so I was probably just turning 3 or right before I turned 3, depending on when the movie came out. But I remember, I don't remember like going to the theater, but I remember seeing that movie on a huge screen. It wasn't until Toy Story 2 that I remember like being taken to the theater and sitting down and watching it. But I do remember seeing A Bug's Life on a huge screen, and that memory into me is like, that's the one I saw in the theater for the first time. And there's no other. When I asked my parents about it, they're like, I don't fucking know what we took you to see. Who knows? So,
this is one thing. I asked my dad too, like, what was the first time you took me to the movie? She's like, I don't fucking know. Well, why would you care about that? I was like, because I'm a movie guy. Come on. So I made actually a point of writing down the first movie I took my kid to. I don't think he remembers it because he was like 1. But I took him to watch Coco on my birthday as his first movie. So Bug's Life is actually pretty sweet. It was the first time, well, no, the second time I noticed the fact that usually movies come in 2s, because I think it was this same year that Deep Impact and Armageddon came out.
Yeah.
I was like, asteroids. And then Ants came out. And then this came out. I was like, bugs.
Bugs.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why that happens. I don't know if people just outright steal ideas, but this is actually not.
I think with the Bug's Life thing, from what I understand, it was like there was someone who was working at Pixar who was like, fuck you guys, and left and went to DreamWorks and was like, yo, a movie about bugs. And they were like, sweet. And then a year later, they were like, Jeff, what the fuck? Pixar's doing the guys doing Toy Story are doing the same thing? And he's like, sorry. Yeah. So that's the story I've heard. Could be true, could not be true. I don't know.
It would be funnier if they did it like just to screw with Pixar. Because, like,
well, Ants is terrible. So
I know that DreamWorks actually they started like as a fuck you to Disney. Like the first directors are all people who left Disney like pissed. The first CEOs and shit. So that's fun stuff. Next question.
If you could pick one movie from any era to be able to see in theaters, which movie would you choose?
So this was a tough question because I've had the opportunity to see a lot of movies in the theater, working at a movie theater myself. Like I've seen the original Star Wars trilogy in the theater, just getting to work at a movie theater. Like we can watch stuff there. So this took some thinking, and I ultimately decided that it's a movie that actually plays in the theater quite a bit. I've just never gotten a chance to go and see it in the theater, and that's Batman '89.
Ooh.
So the movie plays all the time. It really does. It's just every time it plays, there's other stuff going on. There's other stuff I'm watching or other stuff that's going on. And I've seen the movie so many times. It's kind of like I don't need to go and see this right now. But then when I was thinking about it, it's like I've seen a lot of superhero movies in the theater. That's kind of the way they need to be watched, in my opinion. and that's the big one that I just haven't seen. I've seen Superman the movie in the theater. I've obviously seen all the modern stuff pretty much in the theater, and all the new Batman. I've even seen Mask of the Phantasm in the theater, but I haven't seen this one. So it's just kind of a weird one that I was thinking about, that it's like, I don't know why I keep missing this one. So the next time it's playing around me, I'm going to make the point to go and see it. Or when my theater opens back up, I can just bring the Blu-ray to the theater and watch it that way. But I plan on, this is one that it's like, I'm a huge Batman fan. I need to see this in the theater, and I just haven't done it yet.
Did you get to see this one in theaters, Mike?
Yes.
I did too. Actually, I did when I was 8. My dad took me to watch this movie on like a Monday. It was like, I remember clearly, it was a school night. But for some reason, we got there and it was like 20 minutes late. And my dad was like, fuck it, we're here. Let's just watch it. And this was back in those days where people didn't like clean out the movie theaters after it. Like if you just hang around, you can watch the other part after. And he was like, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just wait it out, see what we missed. Because I was expecting, like, we missed like 5 minutes. We missed like 20 minutes.
Yikes.
This is not the best way to watch this, but it was fun. I remember it was fun.
The opening of that movie is like one of the best parts of the
Yeah.
We got there, and it was about the time that Jack Napier was like with the girl from Grissom's wife, Grissom's girl. Like they were having an affair, and he was like you're beautiful and stuff. So it was like really. I mean, I missed the roof stain. I made the first Edgar appearance. It was rough. But, it's a. So what do you know? Did you get to experience physical movie rentals? Like I take the thing, and this is the movie, not like streaming.
Yes, very much so. Very, very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to dip into the other questions too much, but growing up, yeah, we had a couple different video stores when I used to live in Indiana. A couple video stores there. When we moved to Wisconsin, there was a video store in biking distance for me. It was a 10-minute bike ride from my house. So over the summers, you go to your grandma's house, you mow the lawn and do some chores for her. She gives you $20, and then you go to ye old Blockbuster and you buy some shit. And yeah, so the VHS rentals, I don't really remember. We definitely did it when I was a younger kid. But once DVD came out, yeah, I rented a ton of DVDs, and even up to the point of Blu-ray. I still prefer, I don't even like renting streaming stuff now. I'm all, if you have never noticed before, I'm very much physical media.
Yeah.
I have a whole other shelf over there. So video stores, there's actually still a Family Video like 20 minutes from where I live.
Another Family Video. Holy shit.
Yeah.
The third person to mention Family Video. I like that.
Yeah.
Everybody likes the one that rents you porn.
That's true. That's accurate. I've never been back there. Every time. So there was a family, it was Blockbuster when I was a kid, and the Blockbuster closed, and we were like, fuck, what are they going to put there? Like a Burger King? No, they put a Family Video, which makes no sense to me. But every time me and Maggie would go there together, I'd be like, are we going to go back there? Are we going to look at it? She'd be like, nah. Let's get the same movie for the 15th time and roll. And it's like golden. So yes, very much so. Rentals. It was, yeah, I loved it as a kid. So
question.
What's your favorite video store?
I feel like I have to go with Blockbuster, and not just because of you guys, but that's what I grew up like. I remember when I lived in Indiana when I was a very little kid, the video store we had was Hollywood Video.
Ooh,
and I always remembered
those guys are assholes.
Yeah, I always remembered hating Hollywood Video. I thought it was terrible. I don't know why as a child I had such a hatred for Hollywood Video, but I really did. And then when we moved to Wisconsin, where I live now, and we had Blockbuster, I was all about it. Loved Blockbuster. And not only because I'm a huge movie person, but I'm also a gamer. So I would buy a lot of video games because like the games would come out and then like a week later they'd be like $10, and it was like used to buy, and it was before GameStop was like a big deal and everything, and it was like great. So I'd buy video games, buy used movies, rent movies. The biggest thing I remember is we would always on New Year's Eve go to Blockbuster and rent like 10 movies and then just watch movies all day into the midnight, and then the next day on New Year's Day watch the rest of them.
That's how you do it.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's how you get it done. And now it's just like I own too many movies, so I don't get to go anymore because Maggie doesn't let me. But yeah, so Blockbuster's probably the one. Nostalgia.
It's weird that you mentioned the streaming thing because for some reason I have that same thing. It's like if I need to watch a movie, I check all the streaming services that I already pay the monthly fee, and if it's there, fine. But if it's like rent, you have to pay for rent specifically that movie from like Vudu or like whatever.
Yeah.
And even if it's like $2 or $3, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I don't want to pay $3 for this. I pay $7 to Disney and I watch like 25 million movies.
Yeah.
So why would I give you $3 for this? And then I was like, well, I might as well buy it so I can keep it. But then the gap is like $15 or $20. I'm like, it's not even like that close. Sometimes when they are close, like I found Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies. You could buy like the 3 live action ones and the animated one for like $20. I was like, yes.
$5 a movie. That's not bad. Yeah.
But I don't know. Overall, it feels weird to me to rent streaming things because then they disappear for like a day after.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've only done it a handful of times. I actually did it a few days ago. I rented The King of Staten Island because I wanted to watch it.
Oh yeah.
So I didn't know when it was if it's gonna come out on Blu-ray or not. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna rent it and watch it. I had a Fandango gift card that was just like sitting there. So it was a $20 rental, but I had a $10 gift card, so it was like $10. But yeah, I'm with you. I just don't like it. Like, I don't know, it feels weird to me. I would rather go and buy the movie on Blu-ray for $10 than rent it for $3 streaming, because even The King of Staten Island, which is a new movie, and I feel like I have pretty decent internet, it cut out twice while I was watching it. And that annoys the shit out of me. That just like I hate that, but I am lucky that I have a big used Blu-ray and game store in the city that I live in. That is, you guys would just like absolutely love. It's like thousands and thousands of movies in there, and from new to old stuff, DVDs to VHS. It's pretty wild. So I do get that scratch itched a little bit by going there and buying movies. Which is nice.
But sadly, here everything that was physical media disappeared. Like at least like 3 years ago. You cannot even. The stores don't even sell like physical media anymore. You cannot go to somewhere and like pick a Blu-ray or DVD. Everything I own is thanks to Amazon and shipping to a PO box thing in Miami that ships them here. And I always have to pay like $3 or $4 extra for the shipping, but at least I get the freaking discs. It's insane because we used to have a big place called CD Place that used to watch. So it was specifically for CDs and DVDs and Blu-rays. They all went broke. Blockbuster sold too, broke. And then all the regular stores that used to bring them, they just didn't, because apparently people didn't buy them. So damn you streaming.
Yeah, that's rough. I would die without my physical media. Like, and I upgrade the shit out of everything too. Like, I just bought, which I know this is gonna make Mike very happy, but last weekend I got to see Jaws in the theater, which was fantastic. And so the moment that we got home, I went on Amazon and I bought the new 4K. So that's coming in the mail right now. So the one that is sitting right up there somewhere around here, that's gonna go away because I bought the 4K. So yeah, man, ooh, that's a scary world to live in, to not be able to have the physical media.
Not only that, but then a lot of them don't even go on to streaming. So if you have certain DVDs, they don't even go to fucking Blu-ray for a lot of them.
Yeah.
That will be the only time you can watch them, unless you do the illegal way.
Yeah.
Other than
Yeah,
that,
yeah, you can always do that one. The funny thing, recently moved, recently like 6 months ago. So when we were finally packing up my movies, and my wife is helping me, and I have things like by alphabetical order and shit. She just looks at me like, and I was like, what? Why do you have 10 copies of Back to the Future? I was like, do I really do have 10? She's like, yeah. You have a DVD, then an anniversary DVD, another anniversary DVD, then a Blu-ray, then an anniversary Blu-ray, then a special edition Blu-ray. I was like, okay, let's move on. um, what is the first movie that you chose to rent by yourself? And by this we mean like, I earned this $3, I did something for it, and I'm gonna spend it this way.
Honestly, I could not come up with an answer for this, but it was probably something released in the year 2006 because that was that summer that that I would go and do chores for my grandma, go back to the store.
okay.
I literally was at Blockbuster at least twice a week, every week for
Dude.
as long as I can remember, for like a couple years there. And then even after that, once I was able to drive and everything, I would still go like once a week. So there's not like one specific that I can remember, only because I would get like 6 movies at a time.
Makes
and
sense.
then go into the basement and watch like 6 movies at a time. So yeah, there's not like one I can think of. I do remember renting Talladega Nights, but I think I had seen it already. I don't think it was like the first time I watched it or anything, but I remember renting that by myself. But I don't think that was like the first one.
First one?
I definitely couldn't come to what the first one. Yeah.
The only thing I can say about that movie is that actually I think it's pretty funny.
Yeah, I think so.
It's pretty funny. I actually like this one. I think I like this one a little bit more than Anchorman the first time I saw it, but I know that's not like a popular opinion. So, meh.
Yeah, I do not agree with you on that one.
Who's your favorite actor?
So there's a couple options here because there's like favorite actor that I like watching of all time, and working today is a different story. So working today, like very popular right now, I would say is Adam Driver. Every time he pops on in something, even if I don't like the movie, he's
You like
great.
him? Yeah.
Like last night I watched While We're Young. It's a Noah Baumbach movie. I didn't love the movie, but he is great in it. And then Marriage Story, he's fantastic in. Black Klansman, he was great in. And then obviously Star Wars, like even the ones that are bad that people. I liked The Rise of Skywalker, I'm sorry, but I thought he was great in that movie. So I love him in everything that he's in.
I mean, clearly.
Look at
Let's
that
go to
man. Look at him.
No, there.
Oh my goodness. But then like all time favorite actor, and again, this isn't like an older guy or anything. It's just like I've seen pretty much everything this guy's been in, and I love him. Is my main man is Jake Gyllenhaal. He's my main guy. Anytime.
Awesome pick.
And I think the moment I realized it was Nightcrawler, like I had already seen like his big ones, but then I saw Nightcrawler and I was like, fuck, man, this guy is on a whole nother level. So anytime he's in the movie, I'm there. Even if the movie is dog shit, like Velvet Buzzsaw was really fucking bad, but he's great in the movie. When he was announced to be playing Mysterio, I think I wept. I love the man, and oh god, yeah, he's great in everything. Like I can't think of a single movie I've seen of his that he's just bad in. Like he is bad. Like movies have been bad, but he always gives it 100. Even a movie like fucking Prince of Persia, which is not a good movie. It's not unwatchable, but it's not a good movie. But he's great in the movie. So yeah,
I just love how he's picking all these dreamy guys.
yeah, yeah,
It's true.
Like,
absolutely. There you go.
If there's one movie to like find out he's your favorite actor, it's Nightcrawler, because that is fucking incredible.
I actually really like Nocturnal Animals too.
That movie is. I've seen it one time. I saw it in the theater, and then I actually I ended up buying it on Blu-ray because I thought I was gonna watch it again, and I just haven't brought myself to watch it again. But he's fucking great in the movie.
I think
It's
the first time I decided that I really, really like this guy was with Jarhead.
Yeah, he's great in that. Have you seen October Sky?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Another really underrated one of his is he's in. I forget who directed it, but it's him and Tobey Maguire and Natalie Portman. It's called Brothers.
Yeah,
It's actually
great.
super
Jim
underrated.
Sheridan, right? Jim Sheridan?
Maybe. I don't
Might
know.
be.
Couldn't tell you. I've seen it a few times, but it's super underrated. I bought it at like a half price books or something for like $2 on Blu-ray. And yeah, that movie's super underrated. But yeah, he's always good in everything he's in. So
Googled it. It is Jim Sheridan. Point for me. Next question.
challenge.
Who's your favorite actress?
So again, this could be kind of like a twofold thing. If I had to go with like working today, which one am I gonna pick? Oh God. It's hard because she's like very famous, and I can't really feel like. I mean, the most consistent over like her career for me, probably Amy Adams, because she can literally do everything. Like we were just talking about Nocturnal Animals, like she's insane in that movie. But then like Catch Me If You Can is like my favorite Spielberg movie. So then you have her in there with like her role in that movie, and it's totally different than what you see in Arrival, and then totally different from what you get in Enchanted, which is like one of my favorite Disney movies. So, although I will say, and that's another thing. The 2011 Muppets movie, like I know Nazario loves the Muppets. The 2011 Muppets movie, over this quarantine has become my shit. I'm depressed. I'm gonna watch a movie, because that movie's fucking perfect. And she's great in it. The only downside to Amy Adams is I found this out yesterday. No lie. I got to study up on my fandom. I watched the movie Underdog.
Oh yeah, I saw that you watched that yesterday.
She is the voice of the female dog, and I was like, man, her voice is so familiar. And I go on IMDb and I look at Maggie and I said, that's fucking Amy Adams. And she goes, no, it's not. And I said, yes, it is. It is Amy Adams. So that was a little upsetting to hear. But
is that the movie where Peter Dinklage is the bad guy?
Yes, it is. It is. I gave it a whopping 1 out of 5. It really upset me. But no, I mean, she's just in so much stuff that has not only been like she's fantastic in it, but the movie itself has moved me. Like, there's a couple I haven't seen. I haven't seen Doubt, which I hear she's fantastic.
Great, yeah.
The only thing I honestly don't like her in are the DC movies. Like, I think she's not great as Lois Lane. I think she's good in Man of Steel, but I think she's honestly kind of bad in BVS and Justice League. So that might be a hot take, but and I don't hate those movies like a lot of other people do. I just don't think she's the greatest in them. But even a movie I don't love like Vice, she's fantastic. Arrival, the Tim Burton movie, what was that called?
Big Eyes.
Big Eyes with Christoph Waltz. Yeah, she's really good in that. She's great in American Hustle. And one of my favorite pieces.
I think she's one of my favorite actors that has not been given an Oscar yet, which is kind of a damn shame. Also, if you have not seen Junebug,
I have.
It's great.
It's great. I think it's on Netflix. I think it might be on Netflix.
Maybe. So that's it. I think you said you were gonna say 2.
No, I was thinking about throwing someone else as like a current and Amy Adams as an all time, but Amy Adams is still working today, so she's very
Sure.
popular right now. So
Let's move.
You kind of answered this already, but let's do it anyways. Who's your favorite director?
Marty boy, Marty boy.
Can't go wrong.
Yeah, no, it definitely was the Wolf of Wall Street that was like, oh shit, and then I went back. The Departed is probably my number 3 favorite movie of all time. And I love, like, the man can literally do everything. There's very few movies of his I don't at least get something out of. Like, I think the only one I can think of is like Boxcar Bertha is pretty fucking awful. But look at that man. He's just wonderful. He voices a shark or a blowfish or something in a Shark Tale. That's the only thing bad. He's the only really offensive thing that he's ever done to me.
Well, he kind of shat on the MCU, right?
He didn't know what he was saying. But I picked up the Criterion Blu-ray of all of it. Had 5 of his early shorts as well.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
Yeah, there was a really good set of shorts too. Like, the man can just do everything. He can do the gangster movies. He can do the horror thrillers. He can do the big historical epics. He can do a small, quiet, but also huge drama like Silence. And then even Hugo, which isn't a phenomenal movie, but I like it.
Yeah,
more
it's really fun.
I love Hugo.
It's a kid. He can make that kids movie, and then the next. Actually, he can make Shutter Island, and then the next year make Hugo. But still, it's just like the man has so much
Range.
room. Yeah, like range, and it's just insane. And like, I think it was last year, Maggie had only seen like Wolf of Wall Street, The Departed, and then like Silence, I think maybe. And so we went on a string of watching a bunch of his movies, and I think we were watching The Aviator, and she was like, "Man, this shit is good," and I'm like, it's almost like the man knows what he's doing. But yeah, no, and I loved The Irishman. I don't fucking care that it's 3 and a half
It's a
hours.
good fucking movie.
I had the pleasure of seeing it in the theater. There was a theater about 40 minutes away from where I live that was showing it in theaters, and so we got to go see it in the theater. Did not get up to pee once. It was fantastic. And then I watched it 2 days later when it came out on Netflix. So yeah, no, I love him. He can do no wrong in my eyes, except for maybe a couple early efforts that are a little gross, I think is what Mike said. But other. Like,
have you seen the documentary Martin Scorsese on American movies?
I don't know if I have.
It's like I want to say it's like 5 hours of just him talking about film history. It's fucking incredible.
Did he direct it?
I don't think he directed it, but he's a host. He's the host of the entire thing. Like, I always looked at him and like, it's Tarantino and Scorsese who fucking can talk about movies all day, every day, and they're fucking amazing at hearing them speak about it.
Because even when he like did the whole complaining about the MCU thing, like I could see where he was coming from as the man that he is. So like I never took it too personally like a lot of other people did that were like, Scorsese, he hates our Marvel movies. Like, nah.
Is it this one, Mike?
Yes, it's that one. The personal journey through. Yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
He co-directed it.
Co-directed it. Okay.
When did it come out? Just so I can write it down.
95.
95? Okay. All right.
British documentary by Martin Scorsese and Michael Henry Wilson called A Personal Journey with Martin Scorsese Through American Movies.
Dope. I'm in. But yeah, no, he just has so many good movies. Like, even like there's a lot of old ones that I think a lot of people think about, like the Goodfellas and the Departeds and stuff like that. But King of Comedy, After Hours,
that's an amazing fucking movie.
Last Temptation of Christ.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
These are all movies that like you wouldn't expect from the guy who made Goodfellas, or Steven, and then he makes this 3-hour biblical epic, like questioning Christianity, but also like talking about his faith. Like it's fucking awesome, and that's why I love him so much, because he just makes a lot of different stuff while also keeping his style. And also, what other movie in the world are you gonna get? Why can't I fuck it? Harvey Keitel playing Judas. You're not gonna get another one.
And Willem Dafoe playing Jesus.
Yeah, he's always Jesus, but he is in this movie. He's the literal Jesus.
Two things before we move on. One, that movie is amazing. As a Catholic-raised boy, I always question the logic behind some of the most famous stories in the church. And I don't know if this is with every religion, but in my religion was like, this doesn't make any sense. And they're like, shut up and have faith. I was like, yeah. So I actually like the fact that he went there, because in the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, it's a very quick thing in the Bible that he says like, Dad, why have you forsaken me? And like 2 seconds later, he's like, I give my spirit to your hands, or something like that. It's like this. So basically, the whole third act of this movie is explaining what happened there. It's like, okay, he gave him an option that he could live like a man. He didn't really have to be a martyr, and blah blah blah. And then he comes to regret that option, and when he realizes it's just been like 2 seconds, he's like, thank you. I mean, it's really interesting.
I didn't grow up Catholic. I grew up in a Lutheran church, which, I mean, for all intents and it's not the same as being Catholic, but it's similar. There's a lot of similar things there, and that was the big thing for me. Seeing the movie for the first time was it did do exactly what you said. It like questioned things that I was always like, this really add up. But I think he does it in a which. At the time, I don't think people noticed, but he does it in a super respectful way. I think people just were like, portraying Jesus sleeping with a woman and having children? We must riot! And then they didn't watch the movie.
That movie was banned here until Passion of the Christ came out. They're like, okay, we can unban it now. I was like, what? What's the ban? I watched that movie 10 years ago in a course of college.
That's funny. No, but the movie's really good. It's a super underrated Scorsese movie, and it's on Criterion Collection, so it's probably on the Criterion channel as well if you have it. So
we have that T-shirt too, but not right now. Okay. And the other thing I wanted to say, Hugo, Kid with Clocks, not animated movie with a white snow dog called Tintin. That's for Cody. Okay, next one. What's your favorite movie, my man?
Monsters Inc. is my favorite movie. The 2001 Pixar animated movie. I know, I just went on a long rant about how I love the mobster and Jesus Man. But yeah, Monsters Inc. is my favorite movie of all time, purely based on the fact that I will never forget being taken to see that movie as a kid. And I must have seen it in the theater 2 or 3 times with my parents. I just absolutely fell in love. I had all the toys. I had, when the movie came out, we had it on VHS and DVD. Like it was a big deal, and it's just always stuck with me from literally the time that I was, so it came out in 2001, so I was 6 when it came out, and I've watched it like 5 to 6 times a year ever since. It's just one of those movies that's just like, I think it's a super underrated Pixar movie. Like a lot of people talk like Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, Toy Story, like, which are all movies I love, but this is the one that like has always been there for me. And I think nostalgia definitely has a big part of that. But I think John Goodman, Billy Crystal play off each other super fucking well in the movie.
Yeah.
I think Steve Buscemi is very funny in it. I just love all the little like monster things, and the way they expanded it in the prequel. I enjoyed it. Didn't love the movie, but I enjoyed it overall. And now there's a Disney Plus series coming, which is a sequel, Monsters at Work. which I believe is a sequel to this. So we'll finally get that story, which I'm very excited about. But yeah, this is just it's my favorite movie purely based on the fact that I've seen it so many times. I still love it. It makes me smile and laugh every time I watch it. But then, yeah, so this and Empire Strikes Back, which we talked about earlier, are definitely like the two. But this is the one that always rules out. But as far as like more modern stuff, I already said it. The Departed is probably my number 3. But Monsters Inc. It should be in everyone's top 10 Pixar, and the people who say it's not that good upset me on the inside.
It's my second favorite Pixar movie. I love it.
Yeah.
Fucking love it.
I feel a little bad now that I kind of trashed this movie yesterday, but you haven't seen that.
That's what I was dying of.
I mean, it's a good movie. I'm not gonna say it's a bad movie. It just for some reason, coming off Toy Story, Bugs Life, Toy Story 2, I felt like the train was going in an upward direction, and then Monsters Inc. didn't connect with me as well. So I just felt like it stalled a little bit, and then after that is like Finding Nemo, Incredibles, and then they did Cars, but then they did like Ratatouille and Wall-E and Up, and I was like, that's a good train. And for some reason, I don't know why this one. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's because I was 20 years old, but when this movie came out, but
It's possible.
it's a good movie. It is a good movie. Yes, it is.
Okay.
The most important question that can be asked: Spielberg movies or Burton movies?
So I don't know how you guys feel about Burton. Obviously, you're pretty passionate because you're asking it in this question. But I feel like the answer has to be Spielberg. It has to be. Is this like a contest between the two of you? Is that the idea? Because I do like Tim Burton. There are Tim Burton movies I really like. I really like Edward Scissorhands like a lot. I like Batman. Obviously, I don't like Batman Returns, but I like Batman. Is it Spielberg 5 versus?
Yeah,
That's fantastic. But it's just the track record with Spielberg is so much better. Even though there are some movies that I don't love from Spielberg, there are way more Burton movies that I just can't get into. When Burton hits for me, he really, really hits. But for every like good Spielberg movie, you get a like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory from Burton, which is just like fucking terrible. Even though I quoted it the other day on Multiplex Loves Movies, the movie hurts me on the inside. So yeah, no, I would take Spielberg 100%. He has some of my favorite movies, like I said earlier, Catch Me If You Can is a blast, and even the ones that I haven't seen of his, I hear are great. But you get your Raiders and E.T. and Jaws and yeah, like, but what do you get with Frankenweenie? Like, I'm sorry. Like again, like I don't hate all of Burton's movies, but I can't even think of more Burton titles as we're sitting here.
You know what? I just gotta say, one director here did Ed Wood, the other did 1941.
God.
One here did Edward Scissorhands, and the other one did the BFG. So
that's fair.
I do not understand what you guys are thinking about.
Oh, if you throw the BFG out there, you also then have to say Alice in Wonderland and Dumbo are both fucking awful.
I like Dumbo. But anyway, I will keep doing this show until someone votes for Burton.
Okay, fair enough.
Next question. Kurt Russell, yes or no?
There's only one answer to this question. Yes.
Yeah.
Of course. Maggie, I think Kurt Russell is the only man Maggie would leave me for. We saw Guardians 2 in the theater, and she had seen Kurt Russell movies before. But we saw Guardians 2 in the theater, and she was like, that is one attractive old man. And I was like, his beard is incredible. I don't know what to tell you. He's a good-looking dude. I don't know what to say. But yeah, yes, Kurt Russell, I fucking love the guy. The Thing is like He's it's so good. There are a couple movies of his that I'm offended at myself for having not seen. I've never seen the Escape movies, which I know
shit,
it's
you
like
gotta get on that.
I
man.
know. I have super big blind spots when it comes to John Carpenter. So like that's something that I need to get on. But when he works with Tarantino,
he's
like
amazing with Tarantino.
especially I think Hateful Eight is super underrated. And I think he's so good at it. And even like his little role in Hollywood, I thought he was really funny in it. And then even stuff like the Fast and Furious movies, when he shows up in those movies, he's fucking good at those too. He's great. I love the guy.
He gives trash in Clint Eastwood's son. That's amazing.
Did that happen?
Yeah, I mean, Clint Eastwood's son is the guy that comes with him, like he's the understudy in the Fast and Furious movie. So he keeps like making fun of him because he doesn't, he's a kid. He doesn't know
in the movie, you're saying in the
in the movie.
Oh,
and
okay.
he's actually going to be doing
in real life. I thought Kurt Russell like did an interview and was like, Scott Eastwood, that guy's a fucking asshole. I was like, what?
That would have been hilarious, though. But no.
Kurt Russell and his son are actually going to be doing a new movie coming up with Mel Gibson directing. It's going to be them starring together. I can't fucking wait for that.
Yeah, that sounds. I mean, say what you will. I really like when Mel Gibson is behind the camera.
I do too.
Hacksaw Ridge fucking slaps. I thought that movie was awesome. So I'm excited for that sounds great.
I watched Apocalypto and did not hate it.
That movie is
it's fucking amazing.
Super cool. It is really good. The ending of that movie is like the final moments of that movie is okay. Yeah, that's a good one.
Bruce Campbell, yes, no, or groovy?
I feel like, once again, there's only one answer to this question.
You would think so.
Groovy.
Yes.
It's got to be groovy. That's awesome. When I saw this question, I was like, I like this. I will say, I don't know Bruce Campbell a ton outside of Evil Dead.
Fair.
Outside of Spider-Man. But I love the Evil Dead franchise. Even the new one.
Oh yeah, the new one.
I really liked the Fede Alvarez movie, and I loved Ash versus the Evil Dead on Starz.
Yes.
I was super bummed when that show got canceled.
And then when he retired his character because of it.
Yeah, it's too bad, but I love Evil Dead as a whole. Those first three movies are some of my favorite horror movies. So, yeah, groovy for sure.
Yes.
So, to wrap up this episode, recommend 2 movies people would not expect from you.
So this was an interesting one to think about because I don't know what people expect of me. Like I think people think I probably just sit around and watch fandom movies all day, which is true, but that's besides the point. So I have like a list of 5 that I have to pick from here, which is tough. I will say I'm gonna pick stuff that I've watched recently, that I haven't seen, or that I hadn't seen that I have now watched because I've been watching a lot of new movies recently. And a big one for me that I don't think people would associate me with is Across the Universe. It's a Beatles musical. I saw it a long time ago when it came out, and I remember liking it quite a bit. But it recently came back to me, and the movie is just like, I don't know, man. I think by all intents and purposes, it's not a good movie. I think when you look at it, the story is very much dictated by the songs, and it's just like, what can we do with this song to move the story? But it worked for me. I really enjoyed it. I thought the performances were good. All the music was really fantastic. And it was just something that I, really, really enjoyed that I think that not a lot of people have seen. I really liked it. Maggie enjoyed it when I showed it to her, so that's always a thumbs up. If Maggie likes a movie, you know, it's kind of got to be semi decent. So that'll be my first one. This is tough. I can't say that one because me and Nazario have talked about that one on the show before.
Interesting.
Interesting. Is right. The
By
other
the
one,
way, if you want to watch one Beatles movie, watch this one and not yesterday. Yesterday sucks. But
the other one I'll say only because I don't think it has gotten a lot of attention. But I fucking loved it. And again, I don't think people would associate me with seeing a movie like this, but it's a movie called Vox Lux. Have you guys heard of
Oh
it?
yeah, that's a great fucking movie.
Okay, good. Okay, so this one came out at the end of 2018. It's got Natalie Portman, Jude Law. I went to see it because our feeder got it, and I wound up, just being absolutely blown away. I'm actually not a huge Natalie Portman fan, mostly because all the fandom movies I watch her in, she's not good in. She's not good in Star Wars, and she's not good in Thor. So, like, hate to break it, but it's the truth. So I went to see this. And have you seen it, Nazario?
oh yeah,
Okay.
I watched it exclusively on Hulu. It's actually pretty great.
Yeah, I bought it on Blu-ray right away when I could to watch it again. But it's a movie you wouldn't think you would want to rewatch because of the subject matter, but it's hard to explain. There's an opening scene that absolutely sets the tone for the rest of the movie and completely put my jaw on the floor for the rest of the movie. And Willem Dafoe, Jesus himself, narrates the movie, and he does a hell of a job. There's a lot of implications about the characters and what goes on in the movie that would probably make a lot of people uncomfortable. So if you like uncomfortably weird movies, this is probably one to watch. Again, this one did not get the Maggie thumbs up. This one got the Maggie thumb to the side, which means, yeah, you made me watch it one day, okay? The performances were good, and you made me watch it, which happens a lot. But I really liked this one, and I don't think enough people have seen it, so that'll be my second one.
I would say that in this movie, particularly, I like the first half way much than the second half. Like everything before Portman actually shows up. Yeah, I think the movie is going perfect, but I still think it's a perfect movie. But there is something there that I couldn't get into until I watched it for the second time. That the dissonance, the separation between the two halves of the movie. I also started watching this with my wife, who actually loves Natalie Portman. And after the scene you mentioned at the beginning, she was like, yeah. Then about halfway through the movie, I was like, and she was like, and then in the end, I was like, 5 stars. She's like, no.
Yeah, same. The ending of the movie is like, it's so hard to talk about without spoiling. I'm interested to hear what you would think after we get off call, but there are some theories out there about the ending and which characters are certain people or things that are very interesting to talk about. I was the same way, Nazario, though, where the movie ended and I literally just like, yep. This is the easiest 5 stars I've given in a long time. I was like, yep.
The music itself is actually pretty great too.
It is. It absolutely is, 100%.
Mike, why do you hate this?
Oh, I don't hate it. I think it's a great fucking movie.
You know what? I'm curious. I'm gonna give you a third movie. Pick a third movie.
Oh shit. Okay. Let's see here. Should I just keep going on the trend of things that I don't think people have seen, so let's probably watch?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Then I will go with this is another movie from 2018, actually. I guarantee, like, less than 10% of the people watching this have seen this movie.
Ooh.
You guys might have seen it. It's a movie called Never Look Away.
No.
It was nominated for Best Foreign Film at the Oscars, the 2019 Oscars, for 2018 movies. And it's a German movie, and it's 3.5 hours long. So it's a beefy boy, but it's a true story. It's basically about this man's. Yep, that's the one. It's about this man's kind of journey through Germany at the time of World War II, where he falls in love with someone, and then her family doesn't really turn out to be what he thinks it is. It was one of those things where I walked into it and I went, okay, this is nominated for Oscars, so I gotta see it. 3.5 hour German movie. Oh boy. And I walked out. It was one of my favorite movies of the year. That was another easy 5 stars for me. It is available to buy on Blu-ray. I don't know if it's out there on like Vudu and stuff, but it's a Sony Pictures classic. So it's definitely worth your time if you like history stuff set in history, like old history stuff. You'd probably very much enjoy it. But I'm trying to think of another movie to compare it to.
Honestly, when you said 18 and I saw the way you were going with this, I completely was convinced you were going to say Suspiria.
Hey, I really like that movie too, but not enough to say you should watch it.
Actually, I think this is actually pretty great picks. So
yeah,
and like I always say, like some people surprise me. You surprise me, my man.
yes.
Your picks are good.
Thank you.
So that's it. That's all we have for you guys today. Thanks to the man, team, the Hulk, Brzakala.
Yes.
Yay! Thank you.
Got the Hulk. So now everybody knows a little more about your taste, and hey, you have some recommendations to watch. Good stuff.
Go watch the recommended movies. The 3.5 hour German movie. Go watch it tonight.
Watch Across the Universe. Don't watch Yesterday. That's an important difference there. Thank you for watching. Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Mike. We're here all week.